So, ladies and gentlemen, as we go down all the way down to Jamaica this morning, we will find the one and only Mr. Errol Dunkley, who is live on the phone lines this morning in the back. Anthony, I can't believe you said the man has been recording since 1965. Good morning, Mr. Dunkley. How are you this morning?
Good to be here, you know.
Yes, man.
Yes,
Welcome.
Good morning, Errol. How you doing, boss?
doing fine, can't complain.
All right.
Thanks for life.
Yes, certainly. Well, welcome to Mic Check. Ladies and gentlemen, you will get your chance this morning to hear about this man's career, Mr. Errol Dunkley. You know, Errol, I saw you earlier this year, a part of a package on the Jamaica Jazz and Blues Fest. I can't believe that you're singing since 1965. I can't believe that.
62.
Oh my! Oh, long before Breadman and Anthony and myself were born.
That's right.
Well, Errol, tell us about it, because you know when you talk about the music, and this morning I played an half an hour music mix that represents the era which you came up in. You're talking about the 60s, 70s, and even the early 80s. And up until this day, you are still performing, you are still touring, and still recording. What was it like for a young Errol Dunkley? In the background is Black Cinderella. Tell us about it.
Well, it wasn't always beautiful, you know. It's a very rough road, you know what I mean? But it's perseverance that really carry you through, you know what I mean? And I love my work so much. You know what I mean? I don't play games, football, cricket, you know what I mean? So being on stage is like, that's my football game, my cricket game, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Tennis, my everything.
Right. Sorry, Errol, you know, when you mention Rocksteady, when you mention certain part of the music, and you talk about a show, Anthony, and you mention names like John Holt and Leroy Sibbles and Upton Lewis, if you don't mention Errol Dunkley in that, you're not talking, huh?
Yeah, and Ken Booth.
Ken Booth, yeah. You know, I mean, so many of the greats have gone. But luckily, you're still here with us, and we can have this conversation this morning. What got Errol Dunkley, what got you into singing? How did it all start, Errol?
Well, it started, you know, I made my first record when I was like 11 years old. But I never had any success until I had You're Gonna Need Me. I start recording for Prince Buster, you know what I mean? That was when I start recording for Joe Gibbs. That's when it all happened, you know what I mean? But I came through the all the era of the music, because I started out when it was ska. Then it changed to rock steady. Then it comes to reggae. And now the youth them coming to them thing called dancehall, which is a hip hop thing, you know what I mean? Our songs have been playing in dancehall a long time. So
Right.
I want to know what is the difference.
Well, oftentimes I say, Errol, that dancehall is really a part of our Jamaica music history. As you mentioned ska before, you mentioned rocksteady, you mentioned reggae, and now the youngsters do have dancehall. And you know, when I was growing up, I understood that dancehall was a place; it wasn't really a music, but now it's a music. Now, Errol, you mentioned a song in there. You're Gonna Need Me. I'm gonna play a little bit of this song, and tell us, when did you record this song and why?
I'm talking about you and your new guy.
Well, this sounds like a very young Errol Dunkley, and
that is a older Errol Dunkley.
This is an older Errol Dunkley.
Yeah.
No,
the original one.
Mm-hmm.
This song was done over again for an album track.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that was on 45 will mash up the players. So
Right.
that's on the amalgamated labels for Joe Gates.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I was 14. This one is a older era.
When did you record this song? I mean, the original one. When did you record that one? What year?
That was 64, 65.
Wow.
But
Wow.
this one is a cover version for the album.
Mm-hmm. What led you to record your first song at 11 years old, Errol Dunkley?
Well, it all happened like that, because I used to, I was living in Jonestown at the time when I did my first recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to team up with a youth named Junior English.
Mm-hmm.
And Junior and I went down by Prince Buster for an audition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it happened, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's when it all started.
Were you
But Junior went to England, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Were you compensated for that song? Did you get paid for that song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from Joe Gibbs, yeah. But not a lot. In them days, I'm going to give 20 pounds, you know.
Right. Oh, was the...
So was the song about a special girl? Because it sounds like there's a girl you're singing about.
He's asking Errol if the song was about a special girl.
No, it's just a inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about any real girl thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it happened after that, you know what I mean? And girls come around and things, but before it wasn't really singing at a girl, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or a girl.
How has the journey been in the music business for you? Because, I mean, I am listening to you talking about songs recorded in 1962 before I was born, song recorded in 64, 65, and, continue up the ladder. Now, how has that journey been for one Errol Dunkley?
Journey really hard because I tell you, I remember doing show all in Europe. Mm-hmm. Nobody never heard reggae before, you know. Mm-hmm. People like me, Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaac, and Ken Bode. But we, three of us, me, Dennis, and Gregory, mm-hmm. we were like, it was like England was like our second home, mm-hmm. you know. So when we went to England, we took our music with us. And we take it to Europe too, where people never hear reggae before. Mm-hmm. We work with some band, calypso band, and we turn them in a reggae band. Mm-hmm. I never seen them a reggae same way. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, so mm-hmm. it's a hard journey, but I enjoy it. I tell you, mm-hmm. I enjoy it and I love it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
What is it you love so much about it? Because, oftentimes I hear artists that came up in your era of the music, I mean, from the 60s and 70s. And, one thing they talk about is royalties. Another thing they talk about is not properly being compensated for their work. I mean, what is your thoughts in terms of the body of work?
All of that is in it. But that's why... You see, some artists haven't got enough songs, you know what I mean? Because they've been watching the money, mm-hmm. and they don't want to do any recording mm-hmm. without getting paid. Mm-hmm. Because I tell you, I do some recording back in my time. Don't get no money, but now it's paying off, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm very grateful for that.
Give thanks.
And I never stop working.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Scorcher himself, Errol Dunkley. Yeah, man.
taking a little joke too far, going around with your so-called spar, using that big mouth you have to tar. But I'm not telling you, my boy, I am the scorcher.
No, Anthony, this sound like Errol I tell a little youth say, yo, my youth, I know you're talking, because I am the scorcher. Tell us about this song, The Scorcher, Errol Dunkley. I like this one.
Well, you see this song now. In Jamaica, one of the time they were comparing me and Delroy Wilson, because Dennis never come around yet, you know what I mean? And they used to compare me and Delroy.
Right.
Jackie me to write a song game name, Trying to Conquer Me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I say me have tried to conquer him. Yeah, so Jackie me to write that song game.
Right.
And Joe Games, write this one for me. To start.
There's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah, because it's a little that song and the Delroy will conquer me. You will see that they are similar comparison, you know what I mean?
Right. You just go ahead.
You can sing Conquer Me on this rhythm, and you can sing the Scorcher and the Conquer Me rhythm as well.
Right. You know, Errol, you just mentioned, it's a little bit noisy in your background where you are, but you just mentioned at the time of you recording this song, Dennis Emmanuel Brown wasn't around yet. Dennis never rise up to prominence.
No. Dennis coming out of the Rocksteady era. You know what I mean? It never their own when was scare.
Now, when you got into the music business at that young, tender age of 11, who are some of the singers that were there? Yeah, you just mentioned that.
My people who inspire me was Prince Buster and Derek Morgan. They were the big giants, you know what I mean? Because I remember I used to tell my friend at school when I was going to Kingston High School. I remember telling my friends then, let's go down Orange Street, you know what I mean? I'm going to look for Prince Buster and Derek Morgan, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was all a joy to just go down Orange Street and see them man there, you know what I mean?
Yes. You know, there's a song that's tearing up the chart worldwide by another artist called Letter to My Dad. But you have a song called Letter to Mommy and Daddy. I'm going to drop this song and you tell us about it, Errol Dunkley.
This is a letter to Mommy and Daddy. Lighter! Telling them that things will be better.
The voice of the legendary Mr. Errol Dunkley. And Anthony, you know about the song I'm talking about, Letter to My Dad, right?
Yeah.
So you see where that song is coming from. Errol Dunkley, Letter to Mommy and Daddy. Tell us about this one, Errol.
It's a cover song.
Yes. Tell us about it.
Well, it was a song that I grew up on, singing all the time, you know what I mean? So I wanted to do it in a rock steady at the time, you know what I mean?
Well, now, what were you going through?
I was doing an album. It was just an album track.
Now, were you going through, when you listen to the message in the music, Errol, were you aware from Jamaica and you miss your mommy and daddy that you felt you had to re-record this song?
No, it wasn't nothing like that.
Okay.
It's just a song I grew up on. And I love my mom so much, you know what I mean? So it was like I was telling her that I'm coming in, no more like home and all these things. It's a foreign song.
No. Singing for so long, Errol. Singing for so long, and still touring, still on the road. You just came back from Canada. What is it that Errol Dunkley do to really maintain and sustain in this tough world of recording and performing?
Well, my thing is early to bed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the first.
Early to bed and early to rise.
Right. That is the first part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you go to your bed early,
Mm-hmm.
you find that your truth is always there, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you bleach out every night, you're out every, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your voice tone get rough. You can't sing the notes them properly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You start develop a frog, you know? So seeing them stand up in the building. As an artist, you have to come out of the night cold, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Breadman?
Yeah, morning, Mr. Dunkley. Breadman here. Let's fast forward a little bit into the 70s, where it was said that you and Gregory Isaac formed the label African Museum. But then I see that later on that you formed another label, Silver Ring. What went on during that time? Tell us a little bit about the relationship between you and Gregory during that time.
Well, it's just that two bull can rule in a one thing, you know what I mean?
On one bull at a time.
So I decided to start my, you know what I mean, leave the African Museum with him and form a new thing, which I did. You know, and it was no big success still. You know what I mean? But it did work because I start producing more of me, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because most of my work then, I either part produce them, part own, or I just produce and own everything, you know what I mean?
Was it during that time?
Songs between me and other producers, and songs that I produce alone and all of that.
Was it during that time you gave the world Black Cinderella?
Yeah, Black Cinderella, that song, I did that song when I was like 20. That was 1971. I had Black Cinderella movies. No, at first I have Movie Star first. I remember having a stringer hit at the time. I had Movie Star. Then came Black Cinderella. Then came You'll Never Know. You know what I mean?
There's a number of songs.
Love is Amazing. Yeah, I just have other string of it at the time. Then I went to London, working with Shelley Recording Company.
Now let me ask you a question, Errol. When I'm gonna mention a few names and listen to me carefully. Ken Booth, Upton Lewis, Leroy Sibbles, John Holt, Alton Ellis, Delroy Wilson, Gregory Isaacs, Cornell Campbell, Errol Dunkley. And if you look at those, if you look at those names and recognize that some of them are no longer with us, and I mean you were in that era of the recording days, in the music days, the heyday of music in Jamaica. How do you feel, when you look around and some of those who are gone and you're still standing firm and still working? How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel good. You know what I mean? But I miss them. Like when we're touring, because when we're touring, it's nice, touring with certain artists who, you know what I mean, who have the vibes, like Gregory and Dennis, they're right. But Ken Booth and them guys, Alton, they were all big boys for me.
Okay.
And you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you, Errol, in terms of...
It's coming like a brave, we did brave.
Yeah?
Yeah, cause we was little kid, we was little youth, and them was bigger boys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we, to see we as some little youth, I rub shoulder with them big giant singer there. Cause we see Ken do that record already at the studio. When finish record. The next artist, when him going out of place, he's nervous and he can't see.
Anthony, I'm gonna ask you to save that question until when we come back on top of the hour. We got 4 minutes to the top of the hour. You mentioned a song called Movie Star. I'm gonna play a little of it, and then we're gonna wrap up this first half of the interview, and then we come back. But here's another hit song from the one and only Mr. Errol Dunkley.
You may not be a movie star, you may not drive a big boss car, but I love you in every way. I love you.
I want to squeeze one question in this, because as I listen to this song, Errol and Anthony and Breadman, do you ever consider like reworking, re-engineering some of these songs?
Because I always think that you can sing them over, because this song you play, this wasn't the hit one, that's the album. That's the album track you play. The hit one was the one with the keyboard.
Right.
But with this album, what we did was to improvise on the track. You know what I mean? Rearrange them and do it again. That's how we did.
Okay.
With that one.
I'm going to ask you to stay right where you are. When we come back after the top of the hour, we're going to continue our conversation this morning, ladies and gentlemen, with Errol Dunkley. Okay, Fred will take us up to the top of the hour.
Okay, Fred, now you're only for you.
Breadman, make myself your life, is not a dead man.